One of the quotes you made a while back was the very term Islamophobia is nonsense. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Yeah, I've been trying to stop people using the term Islamophobia for a long time because, first of all, nobody's at all sure what it's meant to mean. I think the best definition anyone can come up with is it's pretty much anything that any Muslim at any point might find personally offensive. People think of Sharia, of course, they think immediately of stonings to death, beheading and crucifixion like happened in Saudi Arabia the other day. They think of all that stuff. That is part of Sharia.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are good, guys. So we're going to be reacting to Douglas Murray's fear of Islamism is rational, plays on our tolerance. Guys, let's go right down to this.
Well, Superman has his Fortress of Solitude, and Bruce Wayne, he's got the Bat Cave, and me, the Menzoid, I've got the Menzoid Man Cave, a place to sit back, chill out, talk about the issues of the day, and I'm very, very happy to have in the Man Cave for the first time Douglas Murray. Douglas, welcome aboard.
Great to be with you here.
Oh, I'm glad you like it. And by the way, folks, this is not Douglas Murray who plays for the Pittsburgh Penguins. This kind of confusion happens all the time, and it's resulted in some booking fiascos. No, Douglas Murray is an author, a journalist, and a member of the think tank, the Henry Jackson Society in London. And also, Douglas, you are a very vocal critic of, shall we call it, Sharia creep and the problems with radical Islam in the West. I know one of the quotes you made a while back was the very term Islamophobia is nonsense. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Yeah, I've been trying to stop people using the term Islamophobia for a long time because, first of all, nobody's at all sure what it's meant to mean. I think the best definition anyone can come up with is it's pretty much anything that any Muslim at any point might find personally offensive. You can't create words based on such nonsense. The other thing, of course, is that, as many people have said, not just me, a phobia is an irrational fear of something. Claustrophobia is irrational because confined spaces, even your man cave, can't actually kill you. It's irrational to think it can, but it isn't at all irrational to be fearful of aspects of and some interpretations of Islam. It's very, very rational to be concerned about Al-Qaeda. It's very rational to be concerned with the Muslim Brotherhood and proponents of Sharia.
And also, Douglas, I think there's the hardcore terrorism, but there's also that which I would call soft jihad. The implementation of like Sharia law. What we've had in the news lately in Toronto, of course, was a father prevented from watching his daughter swim at a publicly funded public swimming pool because Muslim women were there and they object to the blending of the sexes. Can you tell me of some of the examples of other, what I would call Sharia creep in Western democracies that you see that are a little unnerving?
Sure. I mean, and you're right. I mean, to highlight this kind of soft Sharia, because whenever people, of all of the risks that happen to free societies, I tend to think the hard ones don't need so much explaining. So, for instance, you don't need to explain to people why being blown up in their trains on the way to work is a bad thing.
Right.
People get that. They really don't like it already. Likewise, flying planes into towers and so on. But on the softer stuff, why don't we just agree to this? Because it would just make life a bit easier. If people, for instance, want to segregate swimming pools, Muslims and non-Muslims, men and women, however they see fit, isn't it just easier? We'll go for a swim at a different time. Isn't it just easier if we allow everyone in this canteen to eat halal meat because it's easier than... That stuff in the end is much more toxic because it plays to the thing in free societies which we have to our advantage, and it turns it against us. Our willingness to be tolerant, our desire to be open, our desire to live and let live. And it plays on that. And there have been many very, very striking examples in Britain, in Europe, and I followed many of the cases that have gone on here in Canada as well. And they all follow the same sort of patterns. And one of the ones that's most concerning at the moment is this one of Sharia courts, Sharia creep. When people think of Sharia, of course, they think immediately of stonings to death, beheading and crucifixion like happened in Saudi Arabia the other day. They think of all that stuff. That is part of Sharia. But there are other parts which go on in countries like this one in Canada, countries like mine in Britain, which are just as much derived from the same type of theology and just happen to be a bit softer. But
we know what the problem is. What is the solution, and is there any willpower by those in power to bring about a solution when it comes to stemming this kind of soft Sharia, soft jihad that I would argue is infecting the West right now?
Yeah, several things, but the most important is that people lose the problem of fear. We lose the fear associated with this. I mean, I mentioned this earlier in passing, but it really can't be stressed enough. People's fear about what happens when they stand up for the truth, when they stand up for freedom, when they stand up for actual openness. What happens is not bad most of the time. You're amazed at the extent to which fear will dominate your response to things. If you're that swimming pool attendant and you're not sure, if it does cost you your job, fight and fight and fight with it. Do what Ezra Levant did. Do what Mark Stein did. Fight and stand up to the people who want to be totalitarian on this. Don't give in to the fearmongers. Don't give in, most of all, to the people who want to shut down our societies with accusations of racism, with accusations of Islamophobia, and all of this sort of thing. Don't give in to it, because if you do, then the future will be a racist future. It will be a future we wouldn't want to live in. It will be a future in which people's daughters will be taken out the back to be searched before being allowed into assembly.
Indeed, well said, my friend. And what was the famous Burke quote about all that's needed for evil to thrive?
It's for good men to do nothing.
Indeed. Well, Douglas, you are a good man. Thank you so much. I know you've got a very busy schedule. Thank you for coming by Sun News and coming out of the Man Cave. And you have an open invitation anytime, my friend. And folks, keep it tuned to Menzoid Mornings. More coming up right after this.
So guys, when I felt really bad, when he talked about the man who couldn't watch his daughter swim in a public space because they said Muslims were there. It's really bad. I mean, me and my dad going out, and then my dad can't watch me do my stuff because you said it's a space where a lot of women are at. I'm like, nah, it doesn't just make sense. It's a pool, like literally swimming pools are like filled with different people. You see, the thing is, they are trying to change society, and we're not opening our eyes to see that. How would you, in a public space, you don't allow someone there because there are a lot of women? No, don't get me wrong. I know that women need privacy. If you go to a pool is a public space. They are different. When you go to a pool to swim, you see guys, women, children, they're all there to swim. If you need privacy, there's the ladies' room. You go there for your privacy. But you come into a room, you come into a pool, and then you are like asking for privacy, meaning all men should be out, it should just be women. Nah, that's wrong. That's totally wrong. And I'm going to just top up with this, that term, the word Islamophobia, people are using it to attack people's freedom of speech. I'm not even gonna lie. Because once they say the word, you're literally just not allowed to criticize Islam. That's exactly what they're trying to do. And it's just so bad, because we live in a free society. We are allowed to criticize our religions. We're allowed to voice out our minds, our opinions. But they say the word and boom, do not talk about Islam. Do not say the word. It's crazy. It's crazy to actually think that way. And like people that are so scared of this thing, you allow your fear eats you up, and then it's just gonna affect society, if I'm being honest. With the whole swimming pool illustration, it's gonna affect society. We should be open. We should open our eyes. We should see that the world is not what it is anymore, and we just need to be strong. We shouldn't allow fear to let us do things that we know, deep down we know, are not right. So guys, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to my channel. I love you guys.